Greetings everyone, I'm Panathon Tambalin, and in this video, I'm attempting to walk and run the entire path of Mahidol University Salaya campus within 2 days. First of all, the entire path of Mahidol University I meant is that I will attempt to either run or walk to visit all the roads and soils of the Salaya campus in 2 days. And will I do it? Let's find out together in today's video. Starting with day 0, the planning stage, I went on Google Maps and tried to map out all the distances of all the paths in Mahidol University if I visit all the soils. And from my measurements, I found out that the total distance of all the path added up to roughly nearly 20 kilometers, which means that I have to walk or run about 10 kilometers per day, which is quite a possible number for me. So I planned and mapped all the routes that I'll be doing in 2 days, and as I did not own any smartwatches that can track my distance, I decided to download a running app to my mobile phone called the Asus Runkeeper to track my distance and my routes via GPS in real time. I also prepare all the running gears such as shoes, shirts, and shorts for the day 1. After planning, this is now the day 1, the activity day. On the first day, the weather was very hot. I planned to start the journey at 5 p.m, but at the time the sun still hadn't set and the weather was still boiling. So the start time was delayed to 6:30 p.m. as I waited for the weather to cool down. However, the real start time is 6:50 p.m. as I arrived to the start location late. By this time, the sun is set and it was getting dark. I started my journey at the Faculty of Engineering besides the red building, and from there I started running to the alley at the back of the engineering building near the library. I ran back to the main road and crossed the road towards the back of the Molecular Biology Institute, and then back to the main road. I then crossed the road again and go back to the starting point. In this stage, even though I ran only for 10 minutes with a distance of nearly 1.5 kilometers, I was very exhausted due to the temperature that is still hot, and I had to sit down and take a rest. And after a 15-minute rest, I decided to go on a walk instead of running, as I did not feel so well. So I started to walk the entire length of the Faculty of Engineering, starting from the white building to the red building. Surprisingly, there was nearly 1 kilometer. The next route that I took is that I walked towards MUIZ and the Faculty of Nursing. And at this time, it was nearly 7:30 p.m. and it was getting dark, and my phone battery was running low. So I did not record any video for this, but it took me about 30 minutes to walk there and back, and the distance was 2.4 kilometers. By this time, it was nearly 8 p.m. and I was very tired and the phone battery was dying. So I decided to end the journey for today and head back home. The total distance for today was below 5 kilometers, which is also 5 kilometers short of my goal, and I am very disappointed, and I aim to do better on day 2. Moving on to day 2, I took all the mistakes I made from day 1, such as starting too late and I ran without warming up. So on day 2, I planned to cover as much distance as possible without worrying about the distance that I had left. I started the journey earlier at around 6 p.m. at Marsha's co-working space, and I ventured to the back alley of the Institute of Molecular Biology. The place was very deserted and barely had people, and on the way back I decided to run for a short distance to the main road. And next, I entered the road between the Faculty of Engineering and the Institute of Nutrition and walked towards the back of the Faculty of Science. When I reached the back of the Faculty of Science, there are many alleys and junctions, so I decided to walk to all available walkways, and this took around 10 or more minutes to complete. Fortunately, I reached the Faculty of Science, and now I begin to walk towards the Prince Mahidol's Hall as I want to cover the road near the College of Music. I cross the road, then I walk to the parking lot. The footpath around here is very nice, as there are trees and waters along the walkways. I decided to cut the distance to the Prince Mahidol Hall by going up this ramp and cut through the parking lot. And finally, I reached the Prince Mahidol Hall, and it was very windy here. The building and the weather was very nice, and the landscape here is very good for an evening walk. I left the place through the road on the left of the Prince Mahidol Hall and ventured towards the Siri Rukachat Park. I crossed the road again, then I walked to the road in between the Mahidol Learning Center and the university dorm. And there are people walking, cycling and running in this road. And there is also a shrine that I've never knew that it was here before. And at this point, I was very tired, so I decided to go into 7-Eleven at MLC to get some water before progressing further. Once I had my water, I then wandered around MLC for a while, for about 5 minutes, before continuing on the same road that I was walking before. Finally, I have completed the road, and I had to decide where I'll be going next. I wanted to go to the rugby field, so I decided to take a left turn and cross the road and follow the path. I took the right turn again and walked along this road to the Faculty of Medicine. I decided not to go towards the Faculty of Medical Technology, as it was quite dark and I'm afraid of encountering snakes or lizards, so I turned right again at this road. As I ventured around halfway along this road, my legs was very tired, so I stopped and rested at the nearby bus stop. I rested for 5 minutes and walked the main road in front of the Faculty of the Liberal Arts. The time now is 7:30 p.m. and things were getting dark. I decided that I would walk to the start point, which is the Marshalls co-working space, and end my journey there. And about 10 minutes later, I have finally now reached the end of my journey. My total distance for day 2 is 5.38 kilometers, which only sums up to about 10 kilometers in 2 days, which is only half of what I plan to do. And this is the route of my full journey on the day 2. Even though I did not complete the goal that I aimed for at first, but I believe that it does not matter much, because the real goal is not to run or walk the furthest distance, but for me, it's rather to enjoy the time that you're running or walking. And from the 2 days of running and walking around the university, I've went to places that I've never been to. I saw beautiful skies and watched the sunset, saw people walking their dogs, and saw the big luscious green trees around the university. I think I can fully say that I've discovered the beauty of the Salaya campus simply by just put on my shoes and just explore. And that concludes this video. Thank you for listening and goodbye.